The buildings all around us, where we live and work, they're built by an industry that is, well, an absolute giant. But this giant has a pretty big secret, a paradox that's really putting our future on the line. What if the very way we build is one of the biggest threats to our planet, but, and here's the twist, it also holds the key to saving it? Just look at this number, 37%. According to the UN, that's how much of our global CO2 emissions comes directly from construction. Let that sink in for a second. That is more than a third of the entire problem. We're not just talking about factories or cars here. We're talking about the concrete, the steel, the glass that makes up our world. And this number, it's exactly why we need to have this conversation. So here's the billion-dollar question. Why is this massive industry so stuck in its old ways? How can something so essential for our future be falling so far behind on sustainability? Well, it turns out the answer isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. And that brings us to two really game-changing ideas. Okay, so this is the blueprint for that smarter, greener future. It's really built on two main pillars. First up, you've got smart contracts, which use blockchain to basically automate trust. And second, there's green public procurement, which turns all that government spending into a powerful force for good. Let's dig into each one. First, let's unpack green public procurement, or GPP. Think of it like this. Governments are by far the biggest buyers out there. GPP is basically them putting a huge sign on their door that says, hey, we only buy green from now on. By demanding things like sustainable materials and energy-efficient designs in their massive public contracts, they can pretty much shift the entire market all by themselves. And now, for the tech that helps make this all happen seamlessly. Smart contracts. On the left, you see the world we all know. Mountains of paperwork, endless back and forth, delays, disputes, you know the drill. But on the right, that's the future. A smart contract is kind of like a high-tech vending machine for agreements. You put the rules in, and once the conditions are met, it automatically spits out the result. No middlemen, no arguments, just pure, transparent automation. So how does this vending machine actually work? It's really a simple three-step dance. First, you code the if this, then that rules of your agreement onto the blockchain. Something like, if the delivery of concrete is verified, then release the payment. Second, some real-world data feeds or sensor confirms that, yep, the condition has been met. And finally, boom, the contract executes itself. The payment gets sent instantly. No paperwork, no chasing invoices. Done. So, we have these amazing solutions, right? Green procurement to drive demand for sustainable building, and smart contracts to make the whole process super efficient and crystal clear. The promise is huge. But if these tools are so great, why aren't they just everywhere already? And this brings us to the core conflict, the real friction point. And look, these benefits aren't just a fantasy. When actual industry professionals were asked about this, the results were totally clear. The number one advantage they see, slashing admin costs. That means less paperwork, less bureaucracy, and right behind that, fewer disputes and way more transparency. This isn't just a small improvement. It's a utopian vision of a construction process that's faster, cheaper, and just fundamentally more honest. But if the promise is so bright, what's the holdup? Well, here's the reality check. The single biggest barrier holding green procurement back is the fear of high initial costs. Companies are worried that going green is just too expensive upfront. And right behind that, a serious lack of expertise and, kind of ironically, weak regulations. It feels like we have the what and the why, but we keep stumbling over the how. So what we have here is a classic standoff. The technology is promising this incredible, efficient utopia, but the green transition feels costly and way too complicated. And this, right here, reveals the true heart of the problem. The solution isn't about more code or throwing more money at it. It's all about the people. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This study from 2021 puts it perfectly. It says the biggest obstacle isn't really cost or complexity. It's a simple absence of information. This knowledge gap is the root cause of all the other problems. That fear of high costs, it comes from not knowing about the long-term savings. The lack of expertise, that's from a lack of training. It all comes back to a human problem, which, of course, needs a human solution. And this is what that human solution actually looks like. It's a framework for what's called people capability. It shows that to make real progress, you need three things working together perfectly. You need the people with the right skills, you need the process to manage information the right way, and you need the material, the actual tools and tech. It's when you combine all three of those that you can finally build a bridge from today's problems to tomorrow's goals. So, what skills are we actually talking about here? What does this new workforce need? Well, it boils down to four crucial capabilities. First, anticipatory capability, the skill to see problems before they even happen. Second is system thinking, understanding that one choice can impact everything from the local economy to the global climate. Third, you need strong interpersonal skills, because green building is all about collaboration. And finally, strategic capability, having the vision to see how one single project fits into the bigger picture of a sustainable world. So all of this brings us to one final, really important question for you. After seeing the incredible promise of the technology and the very real human barriers, what do you think is the bigger hurdle here? What's really holding the construction industry back? Is it A, the cost of all this new tech, or is it B, the much harder task of just changing old ingrained habits?